Now, in the United States, the House Ways and Means Committee has just released Donald Trump's tax returns from 2015 to 2020. The former president had fought for years to keep the documents secret. Well, they show Trump paid no income tax in 2020, his final full year in office. Our Washington correspondent Gary O'Donoghue has been telling me what it means for Donald Trump.
Fought it tooth and nail right up to the Supreme Court, in fact, which just about a month ago ruled against him and said that that the House committee that was looking into this matter could have access to those tax returns just days really before control of Congress, of the lower house at any rate, moves over to Republicans who could have ended that whole inquiry. So we have 6 years worth of returns, personal returns, a lot of returns that deal with businesses associated with Donald Trump. And there's like a gigabyte of data here for people to go through. But we already know some of the headlines because the House committee's already told us that, confirming that, for example, in 2 years of those 6, Donald Trump only paid $750 in federal income tax, along with his wife. For a number of years, he paid no income tax whatsoever. And of course, lots of questions about some of his offsets, the money he was giving to charity, whether or not his assessment of his assets was correct or not. And of course, one of the key facts here, Ben, is that it's emerged that only one of those years was President Trump under some kind of audit by the Internal Revenue Service. And of course, that was always his excuse for not releasing his returns, is that he was under permanent audit. That turns out not to be true.
And what does all this mean for Donald Trump politically, do you think, in terms of his attempt to get back into the White House?
I think, to be honest, the political impact is pretty small. I think a lot of this has been factored in already. His supporters believe, and have believed for several years since this battle began, that this was an intrusion of privacy. His opponents believe that he should have complied right back in 2015, like all other serious presidential candidates have, in terms of releasing tax returns, which has been the convention here for about 50 years. So people's views on this are baked in. What will be interesting is what little nuggets start to emerge from the detail of this paperwork. Money going here, money going there, this valuation, that valuation. How much can people deduce that Donald Trump was actually worth at any one time, given the wild variations in his own assessment of his net worth, etc. Those are the sorts of things that I think will emerge over the coming days as people go through these dozens and dozens of documents with a fine-tooth comb.
And he, no doubt, will say this is all part of a sort of Democrat witch hunt of him.
The word has already been used last week by the president, as you can imagine. He's urged Republicans to go after Joe Biden's financial records in detail as some kind of revenge or reprisal. In fact, Joe Biden's already published all of his tax returns back to, I think, 1969, if memory serves me. So there will be a bit of a battle over this, but it will be, in some sense, grist to the mill for Republicans as they take control of the House of Representatives. It will give them an impetus to become much more personal, as they clearly intend to over their investigations, as they control those committees that can conduct those inquiries into Joe Biden himself, perhaps even his son and his business dealings. We know that's incredibly likely as well. So this will be part of the sort of general personalisation that will take place in the next few months in terms of inquiries.